All right, so it's summertime, guys. We're turning the heat all the way up, man. It's time to turn the heat all the way up. We're applying pressure. We're applying pressure. It's time to get it super hot. All right, so if you're with me, if you're rocking with your boy and you're ready to turn it all the way up, we turn the heat up to 1,000. Let's get it. What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Darian, man. I'm the bow tie fragrance guy. On this channel, we talk about fragrance, fashion, and lifestyle. If you're interested in any of the above, or the aforementioned things, please consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon as well to ensure you get notified anytime I upload new content on the channel. All right, guys, before we move forward in the video, let's just get a quick moment of silence for the swag. Booyah. You knew it was coming. One moment of silence. All right, boom. Let's go ahead and keep the party going. Now I'm your whole ring. Guys, the reason I was rocking the shade today because it's summertime. I know a lot of you, or if you are like me, when you go outside, you like to have some nice frames on your face. And when I am rocking a suit, aviator frames with the metal frames are the best type of frame that you want to have on your face when you have on a suit. Aviators are a lot more classy, and again, they just pair better with the suit than your typical acetate frame. So that's my style tip of the day, guys. When you're out and about this summer and you're wearing frames like this beautiful pair of aviators I have from Tom Ford, again, make sure you're rocking some aviators if you have on a suit, a shirt, and a tie, because that's the perfect combination for summertime fly. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video today. Like I said, we're going to be talking about 10 fragrances that are great for the summertime that I feel like every guy should have in his collection. Another thing that's really good about this list today and unique, I feel like, is there are some fragrances on this list that a lot of people never really talk about that are really good kind of hidden gems, in my opinion, that are great to wear during this time of year. So I'm excited to get into it. So if you want to see what's on this list today of 10 fragrances, summer fragrances that is, that every man should have in his collection, then you guys know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it.
The Bowtie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's go ahead and jump right into this list of fragrances. Actually, before I do it, just one or two housekeeping things. Of course, guys, remember, keep your eyes open for my new fragrances that will be released here coming up really soon. Also, if you don't mind, guys, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. If you're not following me on those platforms, please do your boy a favor. If you got to pause this video and do it and come back. Make sure that you're following me on TikTok as well as Instagram, and my name is the Bowtie Fragrance Guy on both of those platforms. All right, now that we've gotten those two things out of the way, let's jump into the list. The first fragrance on the list today, this fragrance comes from the house of Wilhelm Perfumery, and this is a house that I've been exploring a lot here more recently. They've got some amazing fragrances. I've talked about Morning Chest here on the channel here recently, but this is another one, man. If I had to say my favorite two, when I first smelled everything from the range of fragrances that they have to offer, this was probably my second favorite. I really wanted to get my hands on it, and now I have it. This one is called Mango Skin. And guys, this is an amazing fragrance, and as you could probably figure from the name of it, it has a very prominent note of mango. The really photorealistic mango, very fruity in the opening with that is because there's a nice mandarin orange that goes right along with the mango. And when it starts to dry down, you get some florals in there, primarily ylang-ylang, and some musk on the dry down. Best way for me to really describe that with a hint of blackcurrant. And this thing is absolutely amazing in the summertime. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you never put your nose on this, if you like mango, if you like orange, this is a fragrance that I think you're really going to love. So I think you need to add this to your collection. So check this one out. Again, it's from the house of Wilhelm Parfumery, and this one is called Mango Skin. All right, guys, I actually received my bottle of Mango Skin from Twisted Lily, and I've been talking about Twisted Lily for a while, and thank you to the folks that have gone over and went ahead and checked out some of the stuff they have to offer. Listen, what I love about Twisted Lily is the fact that you can get not only full bottles, but also samples of some of your favorite niche fragrances. So listen, if you see anything on this list today, especially the niche fragrances that you like, head over to Twisted Lily. I always have it linked down in the description where you can get a discount if you decide to go ahead and purchase something. So click on my link, head over to Twisted Lily, guys, and check out any of these nice niche fragrances that I have on this list today. All right, guys, now this next fragrance isn't a niche fragrance, but it's a fragrance every man should have in his collection. When you talk about summer fragrances from the house of Versace, this is Versace Pour Homme. Man, you can't get any more classic and summer appropriate than what you have in this bottle right here. Now, I personally talk a lot about Versace Man Eau Fresh, but this fragrance is just as good. And the good thing about it is it's just as accessible and it's just as inexpensive. Guys, you can find this fragrance for about $35 or less. You can actually find a big 6.7, 6.8 size bottle of this for probably about 60 or 70 bucks. And if you only had to have one fragrance for the summertime, this is the type of fragrance that you can have and it's going to work in any situation. So because of the value that you get here and for how good this fragrance is, I think this is a fragrance that every man should have in his summertime rotation. And again, it's from the house of Versace, and this one is called Versace Pour Homme. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list actually comes from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. So this is definitely one you want to go over to Twisted Lily and check out at least a sample of, because it is exhilarating in the summertime. And this one is called Acqua Celestia. Acqua Celestia. This fragrance is lime. Oh, man. Lime. There's a little bit of neroli in this as well, I think. A slight hint of black currant. When it dries down, you get some greenness, a little bit of mimosa, and it closes itself out with a nice, clean, white musk accord. Man, this thing is absolutely amazing. Summertime comes, guys. You love, of course, the citruses. You love your aquatics. You have all of that going on in this fragrance. And again, when it kind of rounds out with that white musk, it just takes it to another level. So check this one out. Like I said, not a lot of people talk about this one from MFK, but it's one of the best from the whole range of fragrances for the summertime. Again, this is called Acqua Celestia. All right, guys, this next fragrance on the list is definitely one that nobody really talks about. This fragrance comes from the house of Xerjoff, and this is from the 1861 collection, which has some amazing fragrances. You talk about Naxos, the newest one, Decants, which is an amazing fragrance. I have that. I'm going to be talking about that pretty soon, as well as Renaissance. Now, when it comes to summertime, Renaissance gets a lot of talk, but a lot of people forget about this one, and this is called ZEFIRO. ZEFIRO. And this one is very, very good for the summer, and this is a unique scent. Some people are thrown off with this fragrance because when it opens up, it's not what you would expect from the typical summertime or hot weather appropriate fragrance, because it opens up with a little elemi resin as well as artemisia, which gives this kind of smoky, almost green, herbal kind of opening, which again may not be something that a lot of people, the average person, is the biggest fan of. But man, you gotta give this fragrance a few seconds for the magic to start to happen. And if you do, you will see exactly what I'm talking about, because in comes these notes of carnation, iris, so it gets powdery and slightly sweet because there's a little bit of honey in this fragrance as well. And it just works to perfection, man. The citruses start to really come through as well. This is an amazing scent for the summertime, and not a lot of people talk about this one. I would say it's kind of the redheaded stepchild of the 1861 collection. But it's a good one, guys. So check this one out as well from the house of Xerjoff. This one is called ZEFIRO. All right, now the next fragrance up on the list needs no introduction. Everybody knows about this fragrance, but I think it's still one everybody should have in their collection from the house of Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme Cologne. Dior Homme Cologne, and I think I was one of the first people to coin the phrase that this smells like a glass of freshly squeezed lemonade. Really no other way to describe it, and who doesn't want to drink or smell like a nice glass of freshly squeezed lemonade when it's hot outside? I don't know about you, but count me in. It really doesn't get much better than this. Something clean, again, citrus. You get the citruses in there, and that is going to work in the high heat of the summertime. So check this one out, guys. If you don't have it yet, make sure you get yourself a bottle of Dior Homme cologne. All right, now this next fragrance on the list, this one actually comes from the House of Creed. No, no, and no again. It's not the fragrance that you're thinking about. This is another fragrance that is great for the summertime that most people generally just kind of skip on by for others from the House of Creed, but it's great in the summertime heat. This one is called Original Vetiver. Original Vetiver. Now, I know a lot of times a fragrance like this, people like to immediately think the springtime, and it is great in the springtime. Obviously, vetiver being the note that it is, and the most prominent note in this composition is one that people normally associate with the springtime. But I'm telling you guys, this thing is magic. I actually wore this thing yesterday in the high heat of the summer, and this thing shines in the high heat. When the heat really starts to hit this one and it starts to really emanate off of your skin, it gets better and better and better. This is a little bit more mature, a little bit well done version of Mugler cologne. So if you never smelled this one, if you smell Mugler cologne, basically imagine that amped up times 5. So check it out, guys, from the House of Creed. A good one for the summer. This is called Original Vetiver. All right, guys, what is seeming to kind of turn into the theme of this list? Another fragrance from another house that's really great that gets overshadowed by some great fragrances from the same line. This is from the House of Chanel, and this is Allure Homme Sport. Allure Homme Sport, just classic and good. Classic and good, no other way to describe it. Oh my God. You talk about invigorating. Citruses, green, musky goodness is what you get from this scent. Oh, it is so good. It's so good. This thing is so good, but obviously when you have other fragrances from the range like Edition Blanche, you have Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Fragrances like this sometimes kind of get, forgotten about. And I think that's sometimes what happens with this fragrance. But man, trust me, guys, this stuff is so good for the summertime. More men should have this in their summertime rotation. From the House of Chanel, again, this is Allure Homme Sport. All right, guys, this next fragrance comes from the House of Nichane. And if you like the note of tea, like I do, then you need to get this thing in your life. Again, this one is called Oolong Chai. Oolong Chai. And what I love about tea-based fragrances, think Under the Lemon Trees from Maison Margiela. Tea fragrances just give me a very cool, calming, and relaxing vibe about myself when I'm wearing it. Tea just kind of, in a weird way, almost like some of your warmer fragrances do when it's cold outside, just kind of wrap you up and just give you this really relaxing kind of overall aesthetic. And that's what I love about Oolong Chai. This thing is absolutely fantastic, man. So again, I won't go on and on about it, but just know when you think about fragrances that are great for the summertime, every man should have this in their collection. From the House of Nichane, this is called Oolong Chai. All right, so the next fragrance up on this list, guys, this one actually comes from the House of Frappin, and this one is called the Orchid Man. Now listen, there are a lot of great fragrances from this house. Primarily, folks think about 1270, which of course is one of my favorites from the house. But this stuff, if you're talking about summertime fragrances, this one is really good, and I think you guys really need to experience this fragrance. Some people kind of compare it to Creed Vintage, but there's some similarities there, but this is a lot more of a subtle fragrance. You get a lot of oak moss in this when it dries down. You get a little bit of spiciness with some black pepper, some bergamot, a little hint of leather as well. But again, it is perfect for the summertime. So if you like a lot of those fragrances that have an vintage kind of vibe to it, but some of those are a little bit too much for you in the summertime, this will be the perfect kind of compromise, if you will, because it's a really, really subtle and smooth and great in the high heat. So check this one out from the House of Frappin. This is called the Orchid Man. All right, guys, and last but not least on the list today, this is one that a lot of people do know about, but man, it screams summertime from the house of Mancera. This is called Sicily. Sicily, and this thing is amazing, man. Again, think about any citrus or any fruit kind of a chord or note that you can have in a fragrance is probably in this thing. And it's just amazing it is amazing for the summertime. I've talked about this fragrance a lot, so I won't spend a lot of time on it. And when you talk about summertime fragrances that are great, this is probably one of the more recognizable fragrances that I talked about on the list today. But it's on here for a good reason, because it's really good. So check this one out from the house of Mancera. This one is called Sicily. But all right, guys, that is it, man. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this list today, as I gave you 10 fragrances from my collection that every man should have in his collection for the summertime. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time and attention to these videos. You don't have to watch, but you do. And I sincerely appreciate that. And don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you are sharing these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian, man. I'm the bow tie fragrance guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.